What's up, everybody? My name is Elliott, but you can call me the Motory Notary. And today, I gotta make some changes around here. I'm gonna pull back the curtain a little bit here and level with you guys. I've got some personal issues going on, as some of you might have noticed from the lack of regular uploads and sparse social media postings. And despite what all of this looks like with the cars, the lights, the space, this YouTube thing is still very much a money-losing operation for me. If I have to even buy one part for a video, like for example, the Volvo, which I have to do a lot, that literally makes that video worth -$. So if you mix the personal issues I've got going on with YouTube being a massive expense, it kind of makes things difficult to move forward without making some major changes. And in my case, it means getting rid of a couple of cars so that I can keep this thing going. And in this case, it means getting rid of my German cars. So while YouTube has been financially detrimental to me, it has allowed me the opportunity to amass a small, eclectic collection of cars, including a car from each of the main countries of World War II's axis of evil. Yes, I have a Toyota Prius that I drive every day representing Japan, I have a Maserati over there representing Italy, and I have these two Teutonic masterpieces behind me representing Germany. And with the sale of these two cars, I'm basically breaking up the axis. It's going to be 1945 all over again here in this warehouse. But that's okay. That's part of moving on with life and part of car enthusiasm. Sometimes you got to get rid of some stuff to get some new stuff. And that's exactly what's happening here. And I'm giving you guys the chance to buy them first before I list them on some regular site. Yes, you can email me at buyelliottcars@gmail.com, which I'm kind of realizing now looks like buyelliottScars. But whatever, that's the email address if you want to make me an offer on either of these two cars. So let's take a look at what you're potentially buying. All right, here in handheld mode, you should be able to see the car a little bit better once I get out of the way. Looking at it, it looks pretty darn good considering it's a 38-year-old car with 284,000 miles on it. Now that sounds like an awful lot, but believe me, for these things, that is just getting started. Well, yeah, there's some stuff on the outside. I mean, once you get close to the paint, you can tell it's got some roughness to it, but you know, it's 1980s paint. It's got a little bit of a break in the side marker here. I couldn't find one of those in Bob's junkyard, but I'm sure they are available. Other than that, you've got your CarTrek sticker, which somewhat proves that it was in the show. And this is a little bit of a paint defect, but again, can be sprayed right up, I'm sure. One of the things that I have fixed on the car was when I bought it, Tyler had the wipers stuck straight up and they just didn't work. But they work now completely and they work great. In this driver's door is the one that you saw in CarTrek getting hit by the guardrail.
Come on. You're really on that guardrail, aren't you?
And amazingly, I mean, there's nothing like wrong with it. I mean, yeah, this trim is maybe popped out a little bit, but wow, it blows my mind. I don't understand the physics that allowed this door to not get ripped off during that. But it didn't, and you can see, still aligned, still shuts perfectly. This is a little bit of a rust spot, but you know, 38-year-old car. You could probably fix it pretty easily, or not, just drive it, it doesn't matter. And other than that, it shows pretty darn well. This is the only other piece of body damage, and I'm not sure if that was a CarTrek rub or if it was something else. That is pretty much it as far as exterior blemishes. Take a look at this though. Look at what this car comes with. Under here, the working liftgate, ta-da, you get a host of spare parts. These are turn markers and stuff that I replaced from Bob's junkyard. This is part of the wiper mechanism. This, you can't go wrong with. Some antifreeze, you never know on these German cars, but look, this is the important part. Original manuals, and this one is even in German. If you're gonna look stuff up, you know, hopefully you know German. But the really cool part here is in this baggie. Check this out. Inside the baggie of goodness, you get several things. The original owner's manual, not a reprint, the actual owner's manual from 1983. Several other things, but this is the coolest to me. The original window sticker from 1983, showing that somebody paid $34,293 for that in 1983. And translated for inflation today, that's $98,000. So this was not a cheap car at all. So it's definitely been cared for, and it's amazing that this kind of documentation has stayed with the car over 38 years. I mean, who knows how many opportunities all of this stuff has had to get lost, but it hasn't. It's all here, and it all could be yours if you email me at the email address listed below, elliottsscars@gmail.com. All right, let's get this open, which is kind of a task. So you lift it up, you pull its little tongue here, and then you gotta really hoist it because it is not spring assisted because, well, the springs break off on all these. The other thing is you kind of have to go over here, undo that latch, move it up a little bit, undo that one. All right, now it will go up all the way. But in order to keep it up, because of the springs, you kind of have to lock it into what Mercedes calls the service position. But once you get the hood out of the way, you can see the glorious diesel 5 Series in all of its glory. Yes, the engine bay is a little dirty, but this thing is constantly kind of spurting out oil. It's a diesel. It's actually all here and it all works, including the air conditioning and the heat, which are both repairs that I showed you on video. And also notably, you still have the condom fix famous from Car Trek, but that the little fuel pump thing actually does work. The condom's just kind of still on there because it's funny, and it was one of the more notable moments from Car Trek 5. 120-ish horsepower, and it all works. Yes, it is painfully slow, but it will get the job done. I drove this car from Atlanta to Wichita, over 1,000 miles, and there was not a single hiccup or problem with this car. I think that says an awful lot about it. Regardless of any nicks and dings it has on the outside, this thing is mechanically sound. And I have a feeling that it will be mechanically sound for the next 38 years, even if you do nothing to it. These things are just amazing. Almost got it. Come on. Yes! Oh, you didn't think I was actually working under there, did you? No, I was doing something much more fun. I was playing Raid Shadow Legends on my phone. Like monkeypox, Raid Shadow Legends has taken over, and gaming will never be the same again. Raid is the first game to bring a true console-level gaming experience to your phone. They've set the bar high, and there's no going back now. Explore millions of champion combinations and master countless tactics as you take on raid bosses, dungeon runs, campaign battles, and PvP arena matches, my personal favorite. With hundreds of artifacts to equip and over 600 champions blessed with unique skills, you can build your team, develop your champions, and raid your way. When I'm not working on my cars or playing with cats, I'm generally playing Raid Shadow Legends. Instead of mindlessly scrolling on Facebook, I do something fun with my time and work on leveling up my favorite champions. Let me tell you about a few of them. First up is Kalia. Not only does she share a similar name to an ex-girlfriend of mine, but like my ex, Kalia is a workhorse attack champion who is great at burning things. Her default skill and her third skill both put out HP burn, which can deal some insane damage if you use it right. She's really been helping me out with the Spirit Keep dungeon boss to stop it from healing up. And you guys know how much I love the undead, and my next favorite champion is a member of the undead horde, Gorgarab. Not only is he an awesome looking zombie, but he's also one of the most universal champions in the game. He's literally great wherever you decide to put him. He's got a full team revive, a full team heal, a full team turn meter boost, and full team increase attack buffs. He can even remove enemy buffs. Gorgarab is basically a full support package, all in one champion. And of course, I can't talk about my favorite champions without mentioning Royal Guard. I've been using Royal Guard for one thing and one thing only: wrecking bosses. He has an extremely powerful ability that scales damage. Add that to his default skill, which decreases the enemy's defense, and he can both paralyze a boss and deal incredible damage. When you put all those things together, Royal Guard is practically a legendary champion. And there's a ton happening in Raid this month, with some new champions, an update to Tag Arena, and a full schedule of special events and tournaments. But here's the main event. Raid's currently running a special Deliana Chase event where you can get your hands on the amazing Deliana, a brand new legendary champion from the High Elves faction, just by logging in. All you have to do is log in and play Raid for 7 days in between now and July 20th, and you'll get Deliana for free. That's it. Deliana is one of the strongest support champions in the entire game and can help carry your team past many of Raid's tougher challenges. You don't want to miss her. The gifts keep coming. All new players, listen up. Once you're in game, just enter promo code MyDeliana to get your hands on everything. Simple. Right now is the best time to get started on Raid, and if you click the link in my description or scan the QR code here, you'll get a free starter pack worth almost $40. We're talking 3 free champions at once, plus 10 Magic XP brews, 10 Force XP brews, and 10 Spirit brews. That's huge. They used to only give away 1 champion at a time, so don't miss your chance to cash in on this huge offer. All of this treasure can be found in-game just waiting for you right here. Click that little box and it's that easy. Huge shout out to Raid Shadow Legends for making this video possible. Your support supports me. So let's get back to the cars. Inside the 300 TD, you've got your pretty standard Mercedes awesomeness. Everything feels substantial and just kind of well made because it was. Remember, this was the equivalent of $98,000 back in its day. Of course, it's also from the 80s, so there's not a lot in terms of technology, but everything that is here is quality. You got your big, very clear instrument gauge cluster with a ton of miles. Like I said, 284,000 miles, which is a daunting number to be staring back at you until you remember what kind of car you're in. And all of this wood you see here is real wood, which is why it's in such great shape. It doesn't get sun cracked or damaged or anything like that. This is the kind of car where you can actually say, oh, they don't build them like they used to anymore. Well, this was from that era. Notable things though is that this radio does work, including the retractable antenna, and it has a rudimentary version of climate control, which if you guys know me, know I'm a massive fan of climate control. So seeing a very, very early version of it that works is absolutely amazing. We've got a button up here that raises and lowers the antenna for better and I guess worse reception if you want it. It comes with a spare CarTrek sticker, which alone might be worth the purchase price of the car. Other than that, the only other thing in this interior is the actual box of condoms that Tyler bought from the gas station and used on the show. I figured I might as well leave it with the car because that was a notable prop, and this is a show car after all. So that's my 1983 Mercedes 300 TD. Yeah, it's got some little blemishes here and there, but it is a solid, solid car. Now, as far as what I want for it, I really don't know. You'll have to make me an offer at buyelliottsscars@gmail.com. Now I know that these are going for like really crazy differential amounts right now, like from $5,000 for one rusting out in a field to $40,000 for one that's been concourse restored. Now this is neither of those and kind of somewhere in between, but let's move on to the green machine over there because it has its own unique story and awesome features as well. This bad boy right here is a 1997 BMW 528i, shown here in Oxford green and paired with a 5-speed manual transmission that is the absolute smoothest transmission I have ever shifted in my life. Now this car had kind of an interesting history. It was a one-owner car until fairly recently. It was like a business guy who drove it, serviced it at the dealership, and just enjoyed it until it got to be kind of too old. So then he gave it to his high school driving age son, who learned how to drive stick shift on it, drove it all the way through high school, and when he went off to college, he gave it to his younger driving age sister, who then learned how to drive stick shift on it and also drove it all the way through high school. 2 kids learned how to drive stick shift on this thing. Not only that, but imagine kids owning cars in high school, they're not exactly gentle on them. And look, here kicking. So fast forward a little bit, Tyler bought it somehow and he ended up giving it to me in a Secret Santa style Christmas giveaway, and I've had it ever since. I've repaired numerous things on it and have just been enjoying it as the good quality car that it is. Sure, it's got some defects on the outside, but it is just an absolute smooth machine that has been really, really reliable for me, and it's been the epitome of a perfect spare car. In fact, every time my best friend Jacob comes into town, he pretty much requests this car to be his rental while he's here because he just loves it. And I don't blame him. It's just a good car to drive. Let's take a look around, look at the car, see the actual condition that it's in, and that way you can see what you'd be getting into if you're the potential next owner of this car. Now, on the outside, I gotta admit, this car does not show very well. The paint is in pretty bad condition, especially in the hoodle region. I've consulted Johnny about this and his paint guys. This is apparently not savable with like some clear coat and a polish. It would need to be repainted. I put this on here because I can open up the hood underneath there and it won't hit. But it's also just kind of funny to have a rock auto magnet on there. The BMW Roundel is fading. They all do that. But the headlights are actually in great shape, and somebody did replace those at some point. You got a little paint action going on here. I'm not sure if this was a paint swap or if somebody attempted to do a repair, but either way, that is what that looks like. Wheels are in great shape though. They're not curbed at all, although pretty hard to curb when you've got this much sidewall. Around back, you've got a funny license plate because that's how people say BMW here in the Wichita area a lot. It's more of the same on this side, a few more dings and scratches. This driver's window didn't work when I got it. It works now. Wipers work. Everything else is here. It just looks like it's been sitting outside for a lot of years because it has up until my ownership. In here though, the trunk still works. Everything's super clean, and this car even has a CD changer, which works. I also have the tool set. I just have it sitting on the shelf over there. And look, you get your BMW instructions on how to fit not one, not two, but 3 golf clubs into this trunk. That's a lot of friends to go golfing with. All right, raise the hood and there is the glorious 190 horsepower M52 motor. And as you can see, it's especially clean under here because this was one of the first cars that I gave the simple green engine bay treatment to. It was actually a lot of fun and very rewarding, which is why the engine bay presents so well in a car that otherwise doesn't present so well on the outside. Mechanically, this thing is all here and it all works. The air conditioner works, it's got new cabin air filters, it's got all new oil, plugs, and coils. So it's pretty much ready to rock. And I'm telling you, the thing about this motor is it is so smooth. I'm talking buttery smooth. Hi there, my name's Elliott. And as a notary public, if there's one thing I value, it's being smooth. From the gentle glide of a well-inked ballpoint pen to the purposeful stamping action of my official seal, being smooth is vital to everything that I do. And if there's one brand that values smoothness above all else, it's BMW with their buttery smooth inline 6-cylinder engines with gobs of generous, smooth torque. Torque that makes you want to spread it on thick like butter on a pancake. If I didn't know any better, I wouldn't believe that these engines are mounted at all. It's more like the body of the car is embracing the motor, like a crescent roll embracing a pat of butter on a Thanksgiving dinner table. Bavarian Motor Works, more like butter motor works. These cars are simply smooth. That was a long time ago, and believe me, it's been cleaned up. Anyway, that's about it for under the hood. Everything's here, it all works. Let's move to the inside of this BMW. Unlike the outside of this car, the inside is in fantastic shape, especially when you consider the high school ownership. I can only imagine the amount of Mountain Dew and Cheetos that were consumed in this thing, but you'd never know. Everything is intact and in good shape, other than the normal BMW stuff. Of course, your cup holders are kind of flimsy at best, but I mean, there's hardly even any wearing on the buttons. Everything's laid out very nicely, and you get some modern 90s conveniences like, well, that CD changer that I mentioned, a radio, digital dual zone climate control, and you've got a trip computer on your dash, which, you know, will tell you gas mileage and other cool 90s stuff like that. But the best part to me is this beautiful wooden shift knob that allows you to row through the gears in a way that you have never experienced before driving a 90s BMW E39. This is such a fun transmission to go through. Maybe fun's not the right word, but smooth and just good. And speaking of interior, I actually forgot to mention the mileage on this thing. 250,000 miles. You would never know that this is a 250,000 mile interior. Everything is in good shape. Even the sunroof works. It's just a good car. So there you go, guys. I am selling my 2 German cars. I don't really want to, but the show must go on, and selling these 2 beauties is the only way to do it. So if you or anyone you know think you could give one or both of these cars a loving, caring home, be sure to send me an offer at buyelliott'scars@gmail.com. Yes, that's buyelliott'scars@gmail.com. I look forward to hearing from dozens of you. Anyway, that is going to do it for this video. Be sure to follow me on Instagram. I try to post a little behind the scenes stuff there. Follow me on Facebook. Join my Facebook group. It's a great place to share memes, and I'm almost always in there interacting in the comments. And other than that, be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe on this video. It greatly helps my YouTube performance, and I will see you guys on the next video. Going back now. Really making sure I wasn't gonna hit something else.